Good morning and welcome to AM Agenda. The polling shows Labor is struggling in New South Wales and Queensland, so no surprises again this morning that Tony Abbott is in Brisbane and the Prime Minister is campaigning in far north Queensland. The economy is again set to dominate campaigning as we mark the halfway point in election campaign 2010. Joining me this morning on AM Agenda here in the Sky News Centre, the Parliamentary Secretary for Employment, Jason Clare. Hi, Jason.
G'day, mate.
And from Adelaide, I've got the Shadow Parliamentary Secretary for Infrastructure and Population Policy, Senator Cory Bernardi. Good morning, Senator, to you.
Good morning, Kieran.
And Senator Bernardi, I want to start with you. There are reports in the News Limited press that the tobacco industry is planning a $5 million advertising campaign against the government, and this has been cooked up with Liberal Party strategists. Is this true?
Well, I understand, Kieran, that this is untrue. The report is unfounded, and that Crosby Textor have had nothing to do whatsoever with this campaign. No one I know has seen the ads, and no one I know is involved in the ads, and that's the Liberal Party's position.
Okay, Jason Clare, that's a fairly emphatic rejection of this, and just as we came to air, I can tell you Crosby Textor has issued a statement. These are the Liberal Party advisors and strategists, the equivalent of Labor's Hawke of Britain. Crosby Textor has put out a statement saying they had nothing to do with the tobacco industry advertisement.
Well, these are very serious allegations, and they go to the trustworthiness of Tony Abbott and whether he is fit to be the Prime Minister of Australia. What's been revealed in the newspapers today is that the tobacco industry have set up a front organisation to try and influence the outcome of the election. Now remember, these are the same companies that produce products that kill people. They're the same products. Their PR divisions of these companies are run by former Liberal Party staffers. They're the same companies that have spent $2.5 million in the last 10 years investing in the Liberal Party. Now, these are the same companies that have done all of that. If Tony Abbott is fit to be Prime Minister, he's got to come out today and reveal what secret agreement he has agreed to with the cigarette companies. And he's also got to stand up and call on the cigarette companies today to rule out any advertising campaign. Now, if he doesn't do that, then he's showing that he's prepared to put the interests of the big cigarette companies ahead of Australian families.
So, Cory Bernardi, your response to that, and also to Julia Gillard's comment this morning in an interview about 30 minutes ago, she said Tony Abbott should come clean on whether his campaign is hostage to the tobacco giants. You've said that Crosby Textor aren't involved, but have you been reassured that no Liberal strategist is involved?
I'm absolutely reassured the Liberal Party has no involvement in this. I mean, Jason and Julia are clutching at straws. If they want to talk about who's captive to spin doctors and special interest, you have to look no further than the Labor Party. I mean, when they ditch Hawke of Britain, then we can take them credibly and seriously. We know that Julia Gillard has admitted to being a fake for the last 7 weeks. We know that their policies are hopeless and failing. We know that they have no real vision for the future, and now they're trying to smear the Liberal Party with some accusations. If people want to participate in political advertising or organisations and they're selling legal products, that is their business. Let the Labor Party ban cigarettes if that's what they want to do. Let them ban cigarette companies from advertising or participating in a political debate or pursuing their interests if that's what they want to do. The Labor Party are desperate. They're absolutely desperate, and if they're not going to relay the facts to the Australian people, we'll have to do it because they can't trust Labor.
Well, Jason, what about that point? But Cory makes a fair point that if it's not illegal, if the product is legal, why can't they advertise like any other business?
Well, they can advertise. What they're doing is setting up a front organisation to try and buy an election. Now, Cory talked about facts. Fact number one, these companies are packed full of ex-Liberal Party staffers. Fact two, over the last 10 years, big cigarette companies have given $2.5 million to the Liberal Party. What we know is the Liberal Party are refusing to act on changes to cigarettes in the Senate. They've tried to stop it time and time again because they are the ones who are influenced by the cigarette companies, and if they're not, then Tony Abbott should come out today and tell them to stop the advertising, and he should reveal what secret deal Tony Abbott has agreed to with the cigarette companies if he's made Prime Minister in 2.5 weeks.
Senator Bernardi, I'll get your response to that. But also, while these products are legal, we should point out that they're not advertising their own product
That's
that has been restricted. Cigarette advertising has been restricted for decades now. Should their aims, political aims, also be restricted, similar to what they would be if they were selling their cigarette boxes?
Well, we have a system of market-based economy where people are allowed to protect their interests and draw attention to it. I mean, when the mining industry did this, Wayne Swan called them liars. He was proved to have been false in his accusations. We know that grubby secret deals are done by the Labor Party all the time. Look no further than the National Broadband Network when they're discredited. Mike Kaiser was appointed to a $400,000 a year job when no advertising and no proper scrutiny. This was done by the Labor Party. We know they have jobs for the boys all the time. Now, it's extraordinary to be criticised because some people who have been involved in government with the Liberal Party have chosen to work in private enterprise.
Well, Cory, let me
Just
ask
incredible.
you this question. Do you think that the changes that we are making to cigarette advertising and the covers of cigarette packets will increase the cost of living? Do you think that? Because that's what they're arguing.
Well, I haven't seen their ads, and it's got nothing to do with what I think or not. This is about their democratic right, or anyone's democratic right, to participate in the political system in this country. Now, you want to shut that out. You just want to allow the union movement to do it, and you want to allow Hawker Britain to control what the people of Australia get to know and think, right? But they're seeing through that. We need to have an open debate about your hopeless policies, about your lack of vision for the future, your duplicitous Prime Minister, and how you knifed Kevin Rudd.
Okay, so if you do want that open debate, how come Tony Abbott made the commitment at the end of the first debate and said, made the challenge, all right, I want 2 more debates, and then that was just a bit over a week ago, and now no dice. He's not willing to have this second debate, and then used the comment no means no yesterday. Did you think those comments were appropriate in that context?
Well, let's just go back. Fake Julia Gillard said that she didn't want any more debates and there were going to be no more. We planned our strategy and our policy process around that. We've got now our policy launch on Sunday. Ms Gillard now wants a debate on Sunday night. That's false. Now, in regard to the no means no comments, I mean, I've seen the professional hysteria of the Greens and Sarah Hanson-Young this morning, and she's come out and said how offensive it is. What she's neglected to mention is that when her own colleague, Scott Ludlam, used exactly the same phrase in the Senate about the Greens' policy in relation to nuclear development and industry in this country, she wasn't outraged then. This is absolute smear. It is gutter politics by the Greens, who are the newest sub-faction of the Labor Party, and the Labor Party are happy to let it happen because they've got nothing else to speak about.
You don't think that the phrase was a little bit inappropriate in this context?
Why is it inappropriate for Tony Abbott when Scott Ludlam can use exactly the same phrase? We're entitled to take the Prime Minister at their word, but in this case, this Prime Minister we've found out is a fake, a phony. We cannot believe anything she says, and I know the Labor Party have to defend her, but, you know, really, her record speaks for itself.
Jason, Clare, why should Tony Abbott and Cory Bernardi's team, as he's been saying, I mean, why should they come and bail you out? You're in trouble. The campaign's in trouble. Why should Tony Abbott agree to this debate?
The real Tony Abbott would never walk away from a debate. He doesn't want to debate Julia Gillard because he knows that if he starts talking about economics, he'll reveal that he doesn't understand economics at all. That's what John Hewson has said. It's what Peter Costello said, that he doesn't understand economics. Now, you know, Kieran, as well as I do, that the most important job of a Prime Minister, the most important job of a federal government, is to keep the economy strong and to protect jobs. And Peter Costello was right when he said Tony Abbott doesn't understand economics. He's scared that if he has a debate...
Why didn't you set this challenge from the outset? Because what you did was, you said, Gillard said, 1 debate, that's it. And now you're struggling in the polls and you say, OK, I'm up for another debate. And Tony Abbott says, sorry, you can't change the rules. We're halfway through the game.
Well, can you imagine what Australia would be like if he adopted that approach if he became Prime Minister? Sorry, everything's set. Can't change the rules. Your global recession hits. Sorry, it'll take me 6 months before I get around to fixing it. You know, the most important job of a Prime Minister is to keep the economy strong. And what I'm worried about is not what Tony Abbott said yesterday. I'm worried about his economic judgment. This is the bloke who said we should have done what New Zealand did. They went into recession. This is the bloke who made Barnaby Joyce his chief financial advisor. This is the bloke that Peter Costello says doesn't understand economics. Now, that is the real issue here. Do you want a Prime Minister who doesn't know how to run an economy?
OK, I'm going to come back to Cory Bernardi and Jason Clare for more after this break. Stay with us.